Welcome to lesson 5 of Object-Oriented Swift with Bob the Developer. In this lesson, you will learn and master the word super and override. A lot of people, including myself, when I first learned about Swift, they simply copy out from Stack Overflow without understanding what those super and override functions are. Well, in this lesson, let's not be one of them. If you are not one of them, that's good, but I was one of them. Welcome to Object-Oriented Swift. Today you will learn about how to override method, init, and property. It's all about object-oriented programming. So here's a problem statement. Super super init. What are those? What are those? Well, when you first learn iOS development, and if you never coded in other languages, you probably think, why do I see something like this right there? You have UI key view controller and video load, and you see this mysterious super video load. Why do we have to type this in the first place? Well, before we talk about this, you have to understand what super means in this case, okay? Let's learn about what is happening. So in order to appreciate what's happening, we want to learn how to duplicate this feature on our own, okay? Let's go. Let's begin with so first of all, it's all about inheritance and classes. So it's not about structs and enums, it's about classes. First of all, let's have a vehicle. This example from the book, from the Swift documentation, but I have a little more exciting aspect to it. Okay, so we have a description computer property, right? You could either use get return, but now just return. So hello, I'm moving at 30 kilometers per hour, and we have a warning. Be careful, I'm going pretty fast. So 30 kilometers per hour, pretty fast enough. It's like running a sprint. And but now what you want to do, you want to override method and property. What does it mean by override? If you will use a table view, you probably have seen override a lot, and you're going to find out what's happening. So what I mean by override is when you inherit the vehicle, let's say toy car, inherits a vehicle, so you probably have all the functions, methods, and the properties associated with it, right? We have a description as well as a warning, because it inherits automatically from this class, from the vehicle class. But sometimes you want to customize the message. Sometimes you want to customize this description. Hello, I'm moving at 15 kilometers per hour if it's toy car, right? Hello, be careful, I'm going pretty fast. Right? Sometimes you want to change, you want to override it. That means you want to completely change everything. So how to do that? Well, first of all, if you simply type description, right, 1, 2, 3, boom, you see the word override. Well, telling you that, hey, you want to change the value. You want to change the description. So since this is a computer property, you have to use a computer property way. So you can do like hello, I'm moving, something like this. Doesn't matter. Override means you're completely changing everything. So now if you toy car, make an object and have a description, it's going to say hello. It's going to say hello, I'm moving. Hello, I'm moving right there. That's what's has. Hello, I'm moving. All right. So what used to be hello, I'm moving at 30 kilometers per hour. Now it has changed to hello, I'm moving. But sometimes you want to use the old value. How to use it? What if you want to use this statement? Hello, I'm moving at 30 kilometers per hour. What if you want to use that statement? Well, the only thing you have to do is, actually it's not the only thing. You want to use the word super.description. What is super.description? Super.description means, so what is the original statement? What is the original statement? The description refers to, the super refers to the class up, which is vehicle. And the description means the property. So we have hello, I'm moving at 30 kilometers per hour. So you're using, let's try to print this to show you what's happening. Right there. So when you have super does the description, that means you're hello, moving at 30 kilometers per hour. You're simply using the property, the original property. But however, you can still override it and still use this property as you wish, just like that. Hey, but I'm small though. Okay, so now, so what's happening? Hey, toy car, the description. Hello, I'm moving at 30 kilometers per hour. Hey, but I'm small though. Okay, So not only you have access to the original property description, and you can also add it. So that's what override does, right? You can completely change it, or you can simply use the property from the superclass, okay? Same thing happens with the function, with method as well. So when it comes to, if you just simply type warning, it's gonna add, boom, right there, override, boom. So now you can simply print, hey, it's a toy car. Hey, please don't mind me. So now, print toy car, let's make an object, and then make a warning. It's gonna say, hey, please don't mind me, okay? Hey, please don't mind me. But of course, now you'll still have access to this warning, and you can still super dot, what do you call that? Warning right there. So it's gonna print hello, don't mind me, but also gonna print super dot warning. Warning sign refers to, hey, be careful, I'm going pretty fast. So let's take a look at it. Be careful, I'm going pretty fast. Okay? That's what I mean by override. You can simply override entire thing, or you have still access to the property methods from the superclass, from the class above. Okay? Sounds good. So we cover override method and init. Property and method. But here comes init. Init is more it's a little trickier, but because I'm about the developer, I'm gonna explain to you real quick, real nice. Okay? You guys just follow me along. You guys see what I'm about to present for you guys. It can be a little tricky. Not many people can explain a lot very well, but I'll try my best. So first of all, let's create a human class. Always human. Either examples are either human or Bob. Okay? In my book, those two are the most practical examples I can give. The human, we have origin, and you have to initialize the user origin, right? So cool. We can make it a human. Let's say, and then ask it to your origin. So you can say, hey, Republic of Korea. You guys know how to say hi in Korean? You guys should know. It's called 안녕하세요. All right. Anyway, doesn't really matter. So we can say enter Republic of Korea. All good. But what you want to do is you want to make it a little more specific. Say right now it's human class, but what if you want to make Korean class? So you want to inherit Korean from human class. All right, you can do whatever you want to. You can do Malaysian, Japanese, Vietnamese, American, Chinese, any other nations that you're from. All right, so we can do. Let's say we have one more property called city. Let's call it var. Doesn't really matter what they call it, letter var. So but it's gonna have, hey, why not? Class Korean has no initializer. That means, hey, it's gonna complain. Hey, why don't you initialize the city property? Hey, you got to do that. So now you're gonna do, hey, enter city, and you're gonna enter string value, and then self.city equals enter city. That's what you enter. Let's try it out. But do you think it's gonna ask you? Do you think it's gonna work? No. Why is that so? It's gonna complain. Why? Because if you look, there's a property that coming from human class called origin, right? But you're not initializing it. When you are using this init method, the only thing you're initializing is the city property. In Swift, as you know, everything has to be initialized. That's a period. Everything has to have type defined for the lesson 1, and everything has to be initialized. So how do you initialize a property coming from the superclass called origin? Well, one way is simply using the init method coming from the superclass. If we use this init method, then that means we can simply initialize this property, right? So how do you have access to the init method coming from the top? Well, you can simply use super.init, and you have this enter origin. You're gonna add let's say Republic of Korea. So we cannot directly origin equals. You cannot do that. The only way to initialize this property is using this init method that coming from this human class. Okay, so just like override var super.description, we just simply access this init method by calling, what do you call that? Super.init and enter origin. So now let's take a look at this. Let's call it Bob. That's a great example. And enter. You're gonna enter city. Let's say I'm from Seoul right there. I'm planning to move to Gangnam soon. And you have access to not only Bob city, but you also have an origin. Again, super refers to what's coming from the top. So it's init. Okay? Okay, so am I making sense, guys? Hopefully I am. But you don't have to use, well, you can also do something like this. What if you just simply ask you to enter city, and also, by the way, you can have a lot more than one init method. You can have multiple designated init method. So enter city and origin, you can have ask 2 parameters to enter, and you want to do is self.city. First of all, initialize what's right there. So self.city enter city, but you also want to do super init enter origin. You want to enter what you've entered right there. So boom. So here we go. We have this amazing Bobby Korean, and you have 2 choices. You can use this, the second init method or the first init method. Doesn't matter which one you use, because both achieve the purpose, which is initializing the origin property as well as the city property. Okay, so I can use anything. So let's do this way. Korea city, say New York, and origin is America, the US. Okay, so voila, that's works both ways. Okay, sounds good. So what's missing? Oh, right. Okay, good. So far so good. So far so good. So we've learned how to use super init. Okay, so now let's talk about how to override init. So we learned how to override method, override property, override init. We learned how to use super. We learned how to access the super init method, but we haven't learned how to override the classic, original init method. Well, this can be a little tougher, but let's try it. Let's try it out. You will eventually get it. So first of all, I'm gonna use a great example from a car brand called Tesla. I love Tesla. Okay, they're nice, they're electrical, they're fast. I wish I can own one day in the future, but maybe like 10 years down the road. So we have a Tesla, and number of wheels contain this property. So you have to initialize this property, enter wheel numbers, and then you just initialize it with this way. So I don't think I have to show an example. So let's say there's a car model called Model S. Okay, very pretty. If you guys don't know Model S, then just go Google search. I'm sure you guys all know. What you want to do is, when you initialize it, you want to say something like, hey, you've created this amazing car. How to do that? So that means you have to override this init method, okay? And then you want to print something like, hey, you got an amazing car. You created this amazing car. How to do that? So how can you initialize a property, number of wheels, and then also have an extra statement when you're making an init method? Pretty tough, huh? So first of all, we can just simply call override init, or simply init enter wheel. It's going to ask you to override. That means you're simply overriding the entire thing. You're rewriting the entire block of code. So you're writing the entire block, writing this part, okay? So here is the difference part. You're going to do super.init, which refers to this part. It can be a little tough. Again, when you say override init, that means you want to rewrite the entire block, okay? And then when you do super.init, that means you want to use this block. Am I making sense? If I'm not making sense, just ask me questions, okay? I'll write there for you guys to, I'm gonna answer the question for you guys. Super.init, you want to use this, override it and use it. So for example, so let's go above here. If that doesn't make sense, you want to use override warning sign, right? You override the warning, it's not a sign, warning method, and then you want to call the warning method. That's similar, very identical. So you're overriding the warning method, but you're calling the warning method. Okay. So here the same thing. You're overriding the init method, rewriting the entire thing, but you also want to run the init method here, right here. I think that makes sense, right? Exactly identical stuff. So. But you also want to do something. You want to do extra stuff. Say, wow, this is a beautiful car. This is a beautiful car. This is a beautiful car. Okay. So when you initialize with this over init method, it's gonna print, hey, this is a beautiful car. Okay, let's find out if that works. So let's go. Model S, enter wheel number 50. hey, wow, this is a beautiful car. But here's the thing. Do you think, all right, let me ask you this. Do you think the number of call of no, Mike, let's go, future car. All right, I'm gonna ask you this. Do you think the future car has the car wheel number of 50 or 5? What do you think? All right, I'll give you 2 seconds. 1, 2. 50? No, it's 5. Why is that so? Because, well, first of all, you are entering a value in the init method, 50. But eventually what you're doing is you're simply entering 5 to the super init method. So simply you're going back here, entering 5 years to number of future car dot enter wheel number will be 5. No matter what you enter, it's going to be 5. So if you change to 10, it's going to be 10 on the bottom. It's going to be 10 on the bottom. I know you guys can't see because my face, 10 on the bottom. So what you have to do is you have to copy this and paste right there. So now the wheel number becomes 50. You know, if I show you an example like this, it probably overwhelm you a lot. That's why I use this default value. So it's better for readability for you guys to understand. So hopefully, we cover a lot in this lesson. So as long as you understand that how to override init method and property, that's good. So when it comes, let's go back here. My view controller, UI view controller. So you might wonder, why do we use override func video load and super video load? Well, in this case, what happened is you are rewriting video load. You're completely rewriting video load. So where does video load comes from? Well, video comes from, it's a built-in function, runs automatically by UI view controller. The system run this method and video load. And what's happening is you're trying to override it. So if you just do this way, what's happening is the UI view controller will run video load function, and the only thing it's gonna do is print hello. Okay, it's gonna say, hey, print hello. That's it. But you want to make sure it still runs the original function and then adds print hello. Okay, when video load is called. And I'm not gonna talk about using in relation to UI kit or iOS development, but just wanted to show you what it means to override and also what it means to have super dot something. Okay, if you understand that part, everything else should be not easier, but I just want you guys to understand what it means to super init, override init. It's something that not many people can explain this well, so that's why I decided to make this entire lesson to dedicate for you guys. If you have any questions, comment below, and I'll be right there for you to answer the questions. Okay, see you guys in the next lesson. Keep learning. I trust you guys. That's it, boom. From now on, you no longer have to fear super init, super video load, and override. If you feel stuck, feel free to watch this video multiple times or just ask me questions. I'll be right there and help you. Just wanted to tell you guys that you've got to understand, absorb every single bits of information that was presented in this lesson. If not, you and I will suffer together. In the next lesson, let's learn how Let's get started.